Greetings, everyone, and welcome to New Gamemaster Month, a month-wide event in the month of January, created by MonteCook Games to celebrate new Game Masters. During this month of January, we will do some special weekly events here at the Guild Suite channel with some very special guests, and this is actually the last talk of this month, so before we go into anything else, thank you to every single guest that we had. It was a pleasure. And last talk right now. Before we continue, this is more on a more personal note. Sadly, this week has been chaos to say the least. For those unaware, my work disk got damaged and it's a minimum of 500 euros to repair, minimum. But the worst of it all was my camera, my SD cards, and batteries were stolen from my car this week. So, to help with the costs, I have an emergency pricing up for video editing if you guys want and wish to help while getting some projects done for yourself. And I also have my coffee probably pinned in chat soon if you also wish to help in any ways, so I can continue to do work for you guys in the work that I love to do. But this is sad matters. Let's go to what matters and happy talks. Today's talk will be about representation in gaming. Sometimes life can be an uphill battle from some of us, and when we play these games that we love so much, we can escape from the struggles of real life just for a moment. It's important to feel like there is a place we belong, and these worlds we travel and the characters we meet or even play as have so much more in common with us than we think. It's in moments like this that makes this makes us have this sense that we are not alone and we are part of something bigger. That there are more people like us. So, today we will speak about the representation of minorities and inclusivity in TTRPGs, about our own experience regarding this matter and how this impact our lives or even how it can impact someone else's. I'm your Videomancer Hikan. This is Oreo. My pronouns are he, they. She never told me hers. I think it's she. If she speaks, I want her to tell me. But yeah, I'll be your host for tonight's talk, and I will be joined by Cari. Most people know her as Cari. She studied criminology, psychology, and gender studies. In 2019, she was one of the 3 women that got together to found a non-profit association dedicated to one of her passions, tabletop games. Quebra-Dados Association. She recently finished her master dissertation. English is hard. Dissertation about gender discrimination in the tabletop gaming community in Portugal, and will continue to work towards making tabletop gaming more inclusive to everyone. Our next guest, Bards Laurinha. She is a game master born and raised in Coimbra, studying education and developmental psychology, and they were one of the first Bards do Mundo. They usually work with smaller, initiate groups, telling stories that almost revolve around political and social issues, trying to bring a sprinkle of change through the art of storytelling. She likes creating characters full of childlike wonder and whimsy, and while you may not get killed at her table, crying and or laughing is always guaranteed. Let's hope it's more laughing than crying. Or not. Crying is also good. Cry at your D&D games, guys. D&D, TTRPG games. Exactly. Our next guest is Bards Eryn. Eryn has been running and playing TTRPGs since the early 90s, where she co-created systems with her friends. She tends to give funny voices to NPCs in her campaigns. She moved to Portugal 3 years ago, and she found many friends in the growing D&D scene here. And welcome. We're happy to have you here. And last but not least, We have Diego, a biologist and photographer by trade. He possesses a keen eye for the natural world. Yet it is his nerdy heart of I'm sorry, English is hard today. Yet it is his nerd art that constantly draws him back to the boundless adventures of tabletop roleplay. With a lifetime of experience as a player and 3 years at the helm as a game master, he has been exploring the art of collaborative storytelling. He takes the TTRPG experience a step further through cosplay, physically manifesting the characters he portrays to deepen the immersion for himself and fellow players. For him, the dice and the camera are simply different tools for the same goal, connecting people through creativity. So, with this being said, let's sit down and have a guild talk. I'm so sorry. My English was being a pain today. I'm too used to speaking in Portuguese now.
Uh-huh.
That's
I'm
the
so
thing.
sorry.
That's the thing. Well, whenever you like leave English apart for some time, it gets rusty, and then but then it picks up really quickly.
It's tough to get back into it if you don't practice it a lot. It's just
And it's very much
how do you speak?
And it's very much about I'm tired. This week was something else.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop. And Oreo is here. So hi
Emotional
everyone.
support.
We're really sad I'm gonna crash this vocal train against my teeth. Fuck off, Renat. Whistle down the written RP and you forgot the language. Yes, so gun. Go answer. It's your turn. So guys, once again, thank you all so much for joining us today. And I would like to start this talk with, well, maybe I'm starting with a bit of like a, how we say in Portuguese, entrada a pé juntos, with a more straightforward question, which is...
Dive right in.
We're going to dive right in. Thank you so much. Have you ever experienced or witnessed discrimination at your tables, either as a player or a game master? And how did you feel / how did you handle the situation? Who would like to go first?
Well, I can start.
Yeah.
Cari's like, well, I bring receipts.
Cari has a lot to say about that.
I'm gonna give out a few spoilers for the talk that I'm gonna give out tomorrow at the Coimbra event, Roll-Mit.
Which is a great talk, by the way.
Most people have seen it because I've done it in Porto at Hall Invicta. I've done it in my master's thesis defense, and I've done it in Lisboa in Lisbon, and now I'm gonna do it in Coimbra. So yeah, if anyone still hasn't heard about it, then now's the time. But so I have two different sides that I can talk about this. I can talk about it from the results that I got from my thesis, so the actual quantitative and qualitative results from both the questionnaire and the interviews that I did with people. So I can give out the receipts, or I can talk about the things that I actually witnessed or experienced in the gaming community myself, which was not part of my study because I cannot be my own subject, right? I cannot study myself, unfortunately. So I have both of these views. Do you want me to focus on a specific one?
I think right now focus on a more personal experience. Curious for that one.
Sure. So I have three stories that I usually give out when I do that talk, when I do that presentation. The first one is the trash can example, which is a very simple one, but I believe it's important, which was the first time or the second time that I played D&D ever in a game store, ever in my life. It was at a game store. I was on my period, and there was not one trash bag, one trash can in the bathroom. There was no trash can in the bathroom. And so I had to do that thing where you kind of work it out and put it in your own purse, and then um and I went to the manager of that store and I said, okay, hey, so you might want to put a trash can in your bathroom because now you have more women playing, so you might want to. And his response, very innocently, in a way, was, well, that it's okay. We don't need to because you can put the toilet paper in the toilet, so that's fine. Don't worry. And I said, well, that's not the issue though. But okay. I mean, I didn't say anything actually because I was too shy at the time because I was a new person at the store. But I thought in my head, well, that's not the issue. So yeah, I don't know if you consider that to be discrimination, but I consider it to be relevant in the topic of excluding people from the community. And there are ways that we do it like really uh, over the top and very explicitly exclude people. And then there's the implicit exclusion that it's not overt, but still you are told subtly, you are told that you don't belong in that space. Yeah, so that's one of my examples, but I don't want to talk for 3 hours, so someone else go now, please. 3, 2, 1,
I
go.
think going with those. I'm sorry. Do you want? You can go, Eryn.
Oh, I cannot think of an example of this, but I know that if I was at a table that had any issues with that, I would not stick around at that table, and that is never okay in my games. We have a very inclusive group of players in my current game.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
go ahead. Sorry.
Like I think, and this is a little bit broader because I'm not gonna. I think maybe the part of integration and representation that I try to learn more about is not really the gender part or else. I tried to study a little bit of racial representation, but I feel like it's not my place to talk about that. So I can talk about disability representation. And even me myself, I cannot talk about all of the disability representation that it's lacking from our community. Um, I can say that my table is not 100% inclusive, and I would love for it to be. Um, for reasons, for some reasons that are like the trash can in the bathroom, that nobody thinks about, but it's such a necessity for our daily lives. I don't know how to, for example, I don't know how to plan a session for somebody who has a hearing deficiency or a visual deficiency. So I could never say that my table is 100% inclusive.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been really worried about as a bardo. So I've been trying to communicate with some students from língua gestual portuguesa that are taking their degree and that are training to be translators, and I've been eyeing them maybe to see if we can get somebody that knows the language to come and help us, maybe teach us or be one of us and be able to have that type of representation. And that is something very extreme. Okay, we're learning a whole new language because every type of additional language that we have to deaf people is an additional language, is a new language. And that's a bit extreme. But sometimes we can talk about accessibility in a more minimal way that I don't think, and this is me saying, this is like a little bit paradoxal because I'm like, this is my table is not inclusive. Okay. I will accept everyone, but I cannot say that my table is accessible to everyone. I cannot guarantee that that everyone's needs will be responded to in my table, unfortunately. I will do my best for it. But I think there are a lot of stuff that we should maybe train and think about a little. I have no idea how I would do a session for blind people. I mean, the narrating part would be exactly the same, but what if I want to give them a more immersive experience? Maybe I could give them minis and they could touch the minis, but I don't know. I cannot be sure that they will have a good experience. And I think we still have a lot of work to make about that. Not only my group in specific, but the community in general, because I've been searching for answers for these two types of questions, but a lot of other problems in accessibility, and there aren't really a lot of resources, uh, either for deaf and blind people, or and now we have a little bit more resources for autistic people and people with ADHD, which is amazing. It's better than nothing. But even if we look into the buildings where our conventions happen, and I think I'm talking too much already, but yeah, if we look into the buildings
Oh,
that the
okay.
conventions happen, um those buildings were not thought. The person that decided to have the event there, they didn't think about anyone that would have an accessibility issue. And I see that because I'm part of some events and some organizations, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I will have to think, how can we get in there if we need to any other way? And sometimes it's through a very obscure back door in the other side of the building where you have to walk or do whatever plus 1 kilometer that you would do normally. So it's very hard because we haven't done it yet, and because we as a society haven't done it yet,
Yeah.
because
I
everything is very the same.
sorry to talk again, but I one of the when we were organizing the second Holly Invicta in Porto, the space is pretty cool, was pretty cool, but then someone from the team said, "Wait, this is all stairs, guys. There's no," and I my mind was like, I didn't even consider that. I It's like what you said. I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't even rem- uh, remembered that this is an issue. It's an accessibility issue. Someone else from the team remembered, and yet we did the event in that space anyway because we had nothing else. We had no other option. So it's tough. Sorry. Next person.
So
It's okay.
I have more that I can add. In my current group that I'm DMing for, we have a person. I don't know what their medical issues have been in the past, but they struggle to walk upstairs. They have crutches. So we take extra time to make certain that they can get up and down the stairs. And then also, after one or two sessions, because they're completely new, I realized that they could roll the dice and then they would do the calculations on the calculator and then show me the number. They are physically their brain is unable to say a number that they're looking at.
Okay.
So they can see the number and see that they rolled a 13, but they can't tell me that they rolled a 13. They can't do 13 plus 3 or whatever is 16 and be like, I rolled a 16. So I have a player, luckily the place that they sit is right next to another older experienced player. And I have that player, they roll the dice, and then that player looks at the dice and say, they rolled a 13, and then I can do the math because I have a copy of their sheet, and I go, okay, they got a 16 on that. But it was very interesting to have a player who can read the number but cannot say the number.
Yeah.
But I found a workaround so that they could
Good.
have fun with us.
Yeah. And that's the important part.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, maybe I would say that I'm also very lucky. My group, I started the Vanishing Kraken with a group of friends. We wanted to play D&D for the longest, and then we were like, okay, this is going to happen right now. So I started at home with my best friends, and they always been very supportive of me as a queer person. So for that, I was very very lucky, and we always felt super free of exploring and expressing ourselves through different characters, any gender, any species. It's like it's our world. We do whatever, and so I was very lucky in that way. And I will admit, when Quebradado started to invite us to do stuff, when I started DMing for Coliseo and things like that, I was very very afraid because I love to do cosplaying. And I like to bring the the craziest characters. I love horror. I love to bring like big makeup, wigs, and all. So I was kind of afraid of exploring the outside world, outside of my friends group. Uh, but so far, I've been very welcoming. Maybe because I'm the DM for most most sessions, so people are like, okay, he's deciding my future. So maybe people don't point out certain things. Um, but I feel like it's also about the energy you bring as a queer person. So you have to own it, and if you own it, and if you put yourself out there, people will look at you, and maybe some people will find it weird at first. Uh, and they will be like, okay, let's see how this goes. But then you get into character and you introduce NPCs and you do voices and you do faces, and people start to get at ease. And I feel like so far I've been very, very, very lucky. And people usually they are always complimenting the makeup and this and that, and you're always like, okay, girl, okay, okay.
I mean, I remember when I first met you, you were slaying at the Hyperport. You
Yeah,
look
Yeah.
amazing.
in Iberanime, yeah. I when it's like big events, and if it's something that's going to, you need to bring a show, and at least I try to win my people through that, to like doing something shocking, so people are like, okay, what is this? And then you start goofing around and people are like, okay, okay, I like this. This is not something I need to fear. So far I've been very very lucky, and I feel like we need more and more queer people in RPGs, just because I feel like sometimes this feels like high school, where you have the nerds in one corner, you have the theater kids in another corner, you have the jocks on the other side of the thing. But sometimes you have so many hobbies and you like so many different things that you can be like a bunch of things and still be part of everything. So, and I feel like sometimes queer people we are voguing, we are doing drag queen, we are doing this and that, but RPGs, you also do nerdy stuff? Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, we
Mhm.
do. Yes. So I feel like so far I've been very very lucky with the people I've come across, and I have a group of friends that are amazing. So yeah, so far so good. But my plan is always like I will be like the shock factor, so I'll go all the way through, so people feel a little bit intimidated maybe. So before they start trying to attack you, they will be like, okay, let me let me stay in defense mode first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I've also been fairly lucky at my tables, but again, I play mostly in my close friend group. And for example, TTRPGs kind of helped me figure out that I was trans, which is fun. And you all mentioned gender. The English is hard today. discrimination against gender, disabilities, queer people, and but then I turn the question around and I'll ask you: do you feel like the TTRPG communities as a whole have been becoming more welcoming of minorities?
Definitely. Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Look, I don't know in other countries, and I don't know how long. I mean, I heard that Erin's been in the community since 1995. Is that right? But it
Mais ou
wasn't in
menos.
okay, but it
Yeah.
wasn't in Portugal as until 3 years ago. And I don't
Mhm.
know how long Laurinha and Diego have been playing, but when I started playing 10 years ago, at in the places that held the RPG events in Porto were, you know, the type, like, you know, the type, the cishet white straight male, you know, the type. So, and they were all very friendly, but 90%, 95% of people were that. It, each event, if you had 2 women, 3 women, it was good. It was a good sign. Then we come to today, where we have majority of women sometimes in a table, which wouldn't happen before in public groups, in public events, in private groups at home. Who knows? You know, could have been a good ratio, men, women, trans people, non-binary. I meant not trans, non-binary. Could have been a good ratio. We don't know, but in public events, for whatever reason, it was very much a homogenous group. English definitely is hard. And now we have some spaces that people can be openly non-binary, which wouldn't have been a thing, or that I know of people who are trans. Maybe they're not open to the randos that they meet, but I know they're trans and they come. I so all kinds of identities and all kinds of I wouldn't say that the community is very much more open to minorities of other types apart from gender identity. Uh, because, like Laurinha said, you know, disability or even ethnicity is a factor. The Portuguese RPG community is very white, is extremely white. So it depends on what you're analyzing.
Yes, and even in terms of my experience as a GM, so um, I've been GMing. So Bardos exists for we're going to have a 2 year anniversary. I was GMing a year before that, so I would say 3 or 4 years. I'm not sure. I really don't know, but I've met very few people, very few people from racial minorities or black people, brown people. I haven't met a lot of them playing with us, and most of the times when I talk to people that maybe would be interested in that, they don't feel safe about coming to our tables, which is very sad. Um, Probably the biggest minority group that I've been having in my tables would be Brazilian people that I don't even know if we can consider them a minority. Like they're in Portugal and they're a big part of Portuguese migration. So I don't even know if we can consider them like a minority per se. But even then, them that are pretty present in our community, especially since there's the Ordem Paranormal and all of the Brazilian RPGs, uh, sometimes we feel a little bit of the discouragement from Portuguese players because they have too much energy or because they role play in Brazilian Portuguese. Even those are differences that are so tiny that I am just a little afraid of how the community would react to other people, which is stupid because we're literally playing as creatures that don't exist, have pink skin, and three horns in the tail. Like,
Yeah.
it
Well,
makes absolutely no sense. And then I have this white male that it's probably like in their 30s because I work with adults that have their life together. Okay. Which is something, and this really pisses me off. So I'm sorry if I get like if I get angry, but it really pisses me off that sometimes I have to deal with white grown men that clearly haven't had any problem like bigger than, I don't know, like daily struggles in their life. They didn't have any type of issue. They were always privileged about something or other thing. Ah! And when somebody a little different comes to their party, or even as a GM, because then again, I'm a disabled uh woman. Like, I'm a disabled woman, autistic disabled woman. Sometimes I get in, and they have an attitude that it's so weird, uh, because then they want to play as maybe a tiefling knight or something. And how can't you deal with my little differences that are inescapable, but are so comfortable with being something so different? I'm so proud of you for being able to play something different. I'm very proud of that. Can we maybe transport that to the real life?
Yeah. Like, grow some empathy, dude. Like, get some empathy.
But I feel like that's the like the symptoms of the cancers we have in our society. Like that's why we have so many freaking problems about immigration, about women rights, about queer people, because self-entitled white men thinks they own the place, and they never look on people and on other people's struggle. Like, it makes no sense. That's why in my table I have the ground rule. It's I have a pink flag. I have no other colors in my table. I have a pink flag, and you have three pink flags. If I give you three pink flags, you're out of my table. Like, there's no talking around it. No, you're out. No disrespect, no looking upon people, not trying to let people not talk or not role play with the others. No, you have three pink flags. If I raise one, it's like, okay, dude, let's chill. Second time, okay, let's really chill. Third time, it's out, out.
Yeah. Have you had have you ever had to kick someone out from your table with that system?
So far, I only raised one flag in my whole in my whole experience, just one pink flag, and so far, and it was like, okay, I learned my lesson. I promise.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
is
So
that?
far, so good.
And that's
Because
very good.
yeah, because when you are DMing, you also have like this extra responsibility of like managing this group of people and making sure, at least from my perspective, making sure everyone is engaged, everyone is entertained, because we are here to have a good time. And
Yeah.
if one player, I don't care if like the other four or other five people that are at the table are having the fun of their life, but if one person is having like this miserable time, man, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So.
Yeah. We have to protect our players. That is pretty much our responsibility, even if we want to traumatize them.
Yeah. But that's
We can do
different.
that.
That's different.
That's the thing.
That's
I
different.
feel like that's the thing. I feel like we not only do we need to protect our players, but we need to, in all aspects of life and in every instance where we hear a comment or whatever an action that doesn't align with inclusivity, even if it's at the supermarket, even if it's at a work meeting, we should be able to use a pink flag and say, hey dude, you're being racist / misogynistic / whatever, homophobic. Like, we should do this every day in every situation. We can't in a lot of places, we can't because of repercussions against ourselves, which makes no sense at all. But in my opinion, that's what we should be doing, not only at the table, but like everywhere, which is why my friends and get very annoyed with me, because I use my pink flag with my friends. So like, no, that's not, no.
Yes, and that's how we're known as argumentative and difficult to deal with, because we're saying that people shouldn't be doing some stuff that they're doing.
But
We
that's
are, yeah, yeah.
that's like the human problem. Whenever you point out the flaws and like you're being wrong, like think again. People
Yeah.
gets like, oh no, I'm not the problem. You are the problem. You are
Please.
crazy. You are out of your
Keep
head.
the peace. Keep the peace. You're
Yes,
making
I
things
think
awkward.
I think that's something very very interesting, because we can also see that, at least we can see that between our players sometimes when they are arguing, getting like, sometimes we have players that can speak for themselves. They feel like they were injustice, and they want to speak for themselves, and the other player starts pointing the finger. I've had that happen. The thing of, oh, it's only a game. You're taking this too seriously. Playing a player saying that to another one, um, and they take it really badly. But when the player defends themselves and they're like, "Yes, it's a game, but aren't we supposed to have fun?" And then there's also the point of the little societies that we create in game are a representation of the big society that we have,
Yep. Exactly.
fortunately and unfortunately. Uh, what do we want to be training? Because the truth is, whenever we're playing, we're training skills. Do we want to be training our rage? I mean, sometimes we need to train our rage. I used TTRPGs to train my rage because I have a very big problem. I don't know how to feel rage, but that's another thing. Um, if you're already annoyed at everything every day, every time, if you're already being so little minded every day, why don't you try and explore a little bit more in this safe place, in this little community that sometimes things can go so well? You can train new skills, train how to be kind, train how to be tolerant, train how to fight differently, how to fight with kindness. And this is such a cheesy line that I hate saying, because it feels like my throat closes a little bit, because I feel it's way too cheesy. But let's train how to fight with kindness. Sometimes we have to, it's like that Portuguese expression, sometimes we have to dar uma chapada de luva branca.
Yeah.
A white gloved slap.
Clap.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure that Eryn would have some stories maybe about this.
The sword of kindness is a cursed item that I have created for a campaign. I actually used it, I think, last year, most recently, and it's like a +3 sword. It's really, really good, but you have to like compliment the person that you're attacking. Like, oh, you're a really cute goblin.
That sounds a
Oh,
bit
that's
cruel.
brilliant.
Oh, I
The
gave
two opposites.
yeah, I'm really good at cursed items.
That's amazing.
Like, it's cruel, but it's brilliant at the same time.
Mhm.
That's why I said brilliant.
No, it is brilliant. It's, definitely.
I gave my party's rogue a lock picking kit that is like +3, +2, something pretty good. And whenever you go to pick a lock, if you're not legally allowed to pick that lock, it screams thief.
That's
I'm
amazing.
taking notes. I'm taking notes, by the way.
Yeah,
They're all taking notes.
yeah.
No, like,
I'm gonna
if you
steal
s-
half of that.
If you saw the last two talks that we had, they were about homebrews, okay? Everyone was taking notes.
Oh,
Too
yeah.
many DMs were taking notes. Some stuff was great. Another one, I feel sorry for the players.
Well,
Also, Luck said something in chat, which I believe it's relevant to say. Hasn't the ending always been about being tolerant and working together? I actually...
Well,
yeah.
Well,
okay.
about that.
So, Gary Gygax was a misogynist. And he was probably racist as well.
There's a lot of
So,
racial stuff in D&D as well.
yeah, there's a lot of racial stereotypes woven into they come from the Tolkien racial stereotypes woven into the Tolkien races slash species. But D&D inherited a lot of that, obviously. And the first editions were sexist, and not the first one, but then the first one with Dave Arneson, the two creators of D&D. It wasn't only Gary Gygax. The first edition wasn't as sexist as the later editions, where after Dave Arneson left and only Gary was developing. I don't remember if it was advanced D&D or another edition. I got my chronology confused, but like that fact that at a certain point in D&D history, women had a penalty to strength stats.
Yes.
So that was added. That wasn't in the first edition. That was added later. So, and it was Gary who decided that was a good idea. And it was Gary Gygax who did a blog post who said that women have different brain functions that make it so that they don't enjoy playing D&D as much, which is very interesting now that we have 2025 stats where women make up 45% of RPG players, according to the stats that we have.
And it's very interesting when we compare the skills that we use playing and the skills that most women use in their hobbies. We can probably find a lot of psychology and neuroscience studies that can compare some of them. So
But the thing is, I feel like because D&D and these TTRPGs, you have different styles and different tables will play differently. And I feel like the early versions, they were very focused in certain aspect of playing, and it was mostly focused on fighting. Because I have I have a bunch of friends. They have ADHD. They are more artsy people, artsy women, and they always sometimes they when I was playing with their boyfriends, they were like around watching us play, and they were like, "Oh, I will never play D&D. I don't like this. Oh, it's not for me. I feel like it's so dumb. You have like these sheets with things and you have to do math and it's just that and you're just fighting monsters. It's not for me." And I was like, I promise you, if you join one session, I ask you for no more nor less than 3 hours of your life, and we will start this campaign. I promise you will love it. And now we are running a campaign for like half a year already, because you have to figure out that D&D is much more than that. And maybe I was DMing for a table that really enjoys fighting, so I will bring them fights. But if you enjoy more role playing, let's give you more role play, and maybe you will have a fight here and there. And they are absolutely loving. I'm loving to play with them. Actually, the table I'm doing with them, it's very political. and we are doing this kind of like fascist family trying to take over the world, and they are the revolution. So it's a dream table, actually.
That's too real,
That's
Diego.
awesome. Yeah.
That's too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I felt
I
like we
don't.
needed, and like the role
I
playing
play
is
for
crazy.
escapism, not to have the exact same problems, but
But
it's
that's
real
you
life.
know. But that's the thing. I'm
I would
giving.
like to ask if the family is by any case orange.
uh,
I won't say. I won't say anything. But the thing is, like, it's to escape reality because they are like they feel like they have the power to change it, like differently than we currently are
Yeah.
sometimes. So
Where's my patron who's gonna give me like
where's
power
my
so that I can go
yeah?
defeat the villain?
Where's my fireball to get inside? Like,
There's a
Yeah.
fireball when you need one.
The group that I have that I'm running right now, they've kind of all gone more Fey with their subclasses and stuff, and they have only had a handful of fights, and they usually try to get through things by tricking people or using disguise self or stuff like that. So it's been really, really fun because they very much will avoid fights and then figure out other ways of doing things.
Conflict resolution doesn't have to come from combat. I love that. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, and
Very.
that's very interesting. Like if we talk about gender, for example, that's something that I would like to make a scientific study about. I've been talking about this with a professor, um, to see if the ways that we decide to resolve conflict in the game are in any way, shape, or form related to the ways that we resolve conflict in real life, and if gender is a factor.
Well,
Because I've seen some things
yeah.
like women preferring clerics and
Oh,
preferring healers and
mm.
those types of jobs in the game, and then they also have a cleric, a healer, uh, role in life. Maybe they're nurses, maybe they're teachers, and there are a whole lot of theories, like vocational theories and all of that, that are very interesting. Um, and something that would be even more interesting to explore is trying to reverse the roles. As soon as we see that somebody is more inclined to fighting, let's try and push them a little more into role playing. And as soon as we see somebody that is more inclined to role playing, let's try and put them more into fighting. And I'm saying, and it's against me, okay, because I hate fights. I I run from them. Like, I'm already there. If you talked about it, I'm running away. My players know that my sessions will mostly be role playing, but that's also because most of my sessions are with players that hate role playing.
Hmm.
So I make them role play because that's how we can train. Then again, oh damn, here I am training again. Okay, but that's true. Okay, that's how we train our our qualities and everything that we can do in our lives. So I'll try and do a study about that, and I'll
So
say
that's the
something.
thing. So if we understand how stereotypes affect us throughout our whole life, like we've been socialized from before we were even born, because there are studies. I have a book right here that you might want to read, which is the gendered brain, and this talks about the neuroscience of gender differences. And there are studies that show many very interesting things, like parents talk with a different voice when, to the pregnant belly, if it's a male fetus or a female fetus, because we're not going to talk about gender at this point. It's a fetus. But so we they talk with a softer, and you're going to be so such a great girl, and you're going to, in a softer voice if it's a female or a female genital looking fetus, and a very more authoritative and assertive tone of voice. You're gonna be amazing. You're gonna be great if it's a boy, or if it's gonna probably be a boy. So from before we're even born, we have different messages that are being sent to us. As soon as we're born, as soon as we start getting toys, we are given toys based on whatever is supposed to be our thing because of the genitals slash assigned sex at birth that we've been given. So throughout our whole lives, we are socialized. Men are socialized to be more dominant. Men are socialized to be more assertive. Women are socialized to be more submissive. We are socialized to think that there's only two options. So it makes sense that if we have this whole path in our childhood and teenagehood most of the time as well, and throughout our lives, when it's time to pick our hobbies and when it's time to pick the activities that we like, all of these influences are not completely forgotten. We don't choose our activities in a vacuum. We don't choose them from a blank slate. We're not a blank slate. We've been imprinted with lots of different messages from the media, from our parents, from school, from our peers. So of course they're going to have an influence. So if my brother was given toy guns and was encouraged to play cops and robbers his whole childhood, and I was given a little baby and I was encouraged to play mom, to play family, play pretend, then of course it makes sense that we tend to choose different things when we're older. It's not deterministic, of course not, but it makes sense that there's a tendency for maybe different types of conflict resolution. And I'm sorry, when talking about gender stereotypes is one of the things that I will not shut up about. So please, someone interrupt me.
Oh, speak.
No, someone.
I was gonna say I like cleric. I play cleric. Other people play cleric to be like a healer or a caretaker. I play cleric for spirit guardians. So
Yeah. And spiritual weapon, pretty great spell.
Mhm.
Pretty great.
Usually, the last two clerics I've played have been astral elves that worship a black hole, so they pull people into their spirit guardian.
I have to admit, you have the best ideas.
So I will be playing cleric for the first time in like 2 weeks.
They're
Oh.
my
2 weeks,
favorite
no,
class.
in a week. So I will send you a message.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
I'll
way,
give you
guiding
all the
bolt, no
cleric
guiding
tips.
bolt.
Oh no, we gotta get ready for
Yep,
some
guiding
black
bolt.
holes.
Yeah.
Oh.
No guiding bolts, guys. Come on. Also that.
So
Okay.
that thing with the clerics is also very interesting because that happens in video games as well. Like the healer support type,
Yeah.
there's a tendency for women to pick that. But I have a theory, for example, in League of Legends, I have a theory that women are tendentially more heavily criticized by if they play badly. So
I've done
playing
way
the
too many people
support,
because of that.
playing an AD carry or playing a mid, it's more responsibility. If you screw up, it's you carry a little bit more responsibility. If you're a bad support, you don't have as much of a backlash than if you're
I
a
wouldn't
bad
say that.
in
But
reactions of other players.
That's in my experience. So I didn't play. I don't know. We're going to start talking about video games, but I
Yeah.
didn't
It's
play.
representation still.
I mean, I also played a little bit of League of Legends, but it was not my thing. I played a lot of Valorant. I was an avid player of Valorant. I was awful at it, but I was an avid player of it. And I still consider myself a Sage main. I am a healer. Would I attribute that to my gender? No, I would attribute that to my trauma. But
That's a quote. That's an amazing quote right there.
Down, please.
Clip this.
Clip this, Joe. Please clip this.
so basically what happened is I always played as a healer. I played either Sage or Sky. I don't know if you're familiar with the characters. I played with both of them and I had a lot of fun. Okay, I love them. I'm very emotional. I cry very easily. If somebody picked those characters before me, I would cry because I didn't feel comfortable playing anything else. Um, and there's at least in Valorant, I felt like there was a lot of responsibility in, but not in the wins, only on the losses.
Yes, no one
So
complains when you're winning. As
yeah,
soon as you start losing one round, that shit derails.
if we win, and
Yeah.
that used to happen, I was a bottom player. Okay, I was always on the top of on the bottom of the table at the end. I was like always last, and I was okay with that because I would have 32 assists or something else. I had
There's more
a
than
whole
just
lot of
EDA.
record in assists. Um, but people would complain because I had like 0 kills. If we lose, they would complain that I didn't do anything, even if we had those many assists. Um, the only time I myself, as an individual, got into the top of the table, I only did it like 4 or 5 times, where I got into like fourth or third place, and we lost the game. We lost the game. I had the my kill record. So for me to have my individual success, I would have to basically give the team away. So I was always in this thing of, okay, I can have my individual success and we can do this as a team. And they will not call me a loser because I'm not in the bottom, but we will lose. We as a team will lose and they will not call me a loser, which is so weird. Or we can win this game. I can be in the bottom of the pyramid, the table, whatever.
But bottom fragging basically.
Yeah. Um, and they will still say that I'm a loser because I'm at the bottom, but I did my job. I did my best. Like I saved many people from dying. There are clips around on the internet, okay, of me
Yeah.
saving people last second. Okay, I was bad at killing, but I was amazing at saving.
And that's
And
even more important.
yeah.
And you're speaking about Valorant, you're speaking about these games overall. There needs to be someone to heal people, and they are the hidden heroes. KDA is not that important, okay? I don't care if you are 50 and 0. I will be looking at the support player that is 0 and 50 in assists. They saved your ass. Like, I play ADC. My duo is in chat. It's Joe. She saved my ass way too many times. I owe her a lot.
Thank you. Appreciation for your supports, okay? Because I made
Appreciate
support
your
for the
supports.
longest.
Without your supports, you're
Definitely.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I hate when
I also stole your kills.
And I hate when your ADC is doing the shittiest job and you're like, okay, I'm ditching all the healing items and I'm taking the damage ones because I need to take like the ownership of this bot lane.
Max.
Yes.
Joe deals more damage than me, but she also plays more damage deal supports.
Yes.
I am the ADC now.
Yeah, and like
Joe,
I am the ADC now.
Joe steals my kills, she's the ADC, but I
you win
appreciate
the lane, you help your team to win the game, and then at the end they are like, what do you mean? You're
Oh.
support. What do you did with it?
Why did you take
Oh.
I
over?
will just say this before we continue. Okay, I'll just say this before we continue. I witnessed in my games a support doing a quadra kill. It was Joe with Seraphine.
Hey.
With a support.
Seraphine
love-
is amazing. Seraphine is
With a
amazing.
support. So respect your supports. Respect people that play on the back seat. And this goes to D&D as well. I remember a game. It was almost a pentakill. It was stolen. Someone stole the pentakill. Playing as I didn't steal it. I swear I didn't. It wasn't me. Joe, don't even. It wasn't me. I was playing shit that game. It wasn't me. I stole you a pentakill where you were playing Annie. No. Yeah, you were playing Annie, and I know I stole you a kill, but I didn't steal that one. I was actively running away to give you the penta. So don't even. But I was like, yeah. Even in D&D, I remember an experience where I was playing a support character, like a bards. Bards are great support characters, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Everyone was down, people were dying, I was close to dying, and I was like, I know what to do. I used my last spell slot to do mass healing word, save basically everyone,
Everyone,
and
yeah.
because of that, we won the damn battle. So respect your damn support.
Yes.
Yeah.
In real life too. I
Yeah.
think we need
Respect
Find
your
the
own support.
helpers.
Find
Yes,
helpers.
there are-
Yeah, find the helpers.
we have supports in real life and they are not appreciated.
Very true.
Respect them, support them, especially right now, because things aren't easy. And they come from every background. I was going to ask something, but let's move a little bit because we kind of during this conversation we started to talk about a lot more about
Yeah, we started.
It derailed a little bit.
Yeah,
but-
we started making a league team.
Please,
I mean,
let's
1,
do
2,
it.
3,
Let's
4,
do it.
5. We're
Do we need
5.
to
We
re-download
can.
that? I'll
No,
jungle.
I refuse to re-download League of Legends.
Yeah.
For the good of my dad, okay, because he steals my computer to play League.
Oh
So
no.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, no. But if you want to play Valorant,
Nope. No
No.
first-person shooters for me. Nope.
No,
Nope.
I'm busy. I'm busy with Helldivers.
Oh, okay, fair.
Very good at it.
Well, we were talking about for example, Luck mentioned in chat how D&D is about tolerance and all, but apparently it's a very racist game in its core. And there are some systems that are written in ways that don't shy away from discrimination, such as racism, xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, ableist views. There are. From the top of my head, I know Vampire the Masquerade deals with those things quite often in previous books. Do you believe that this perpetuates a system that lives from such effects, or instead enlightens others about the day-to-day struggles that minorities encounter in real life?
I feel like it's a delicate subject, and it's always the way you tackle those things in those systems, because you can either just pay absolutely no mind and let's just enslave this minority because the game says so, and let's do a ha ha ha, we are the best of the world. Or maybe you take it and you do like maybe your group are the enslaved people and they are trying to break the chains, and then you switch.
Diego died.
oh no.
Yeah,
we
I
lost.
think he
Oh,
crashed.
no. He
We
crashed.
lost
Diego.
him.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
We wait. But yeah.
F in chat.
F's in
I
the
think-
chat, guys. F's in the chat.
To go on what
Lights
they
went
were,
out.
what I think they're saying. I think using the act of role playing to role play as a minority group that you might not be a part of can help you put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Empathy.
And it also depends. So the system could be written in a respectful way to tackle those points in a respectful way, or it could be a game where they want to tackle it, but they do it in a very poor taste kind of way. But
Just to
then,
say that they did.
yeah, just to say that they talked about it. But then each table can do what they want, because you know it's true. Any game, any RPG, no matter how well written it is, no matter how defined the rules are, no matter how respectful it is, the players can do whatever they want with it. They can pick it up, mold it around, and let's just do pretend. Let's just say we're playing this, but play our own version of it, our homebrew version of it, and
Mhm.
that can work for mechanics. But that can also be the case for the topics that are encountered and dealt with. So, Vampire the Masquerade, I played it a long time ago, so I don't have it very present in my mind. I remember that it was respectful in the way that it wrote about it. But I'm not sure that all the tables that I saw playing that were handling it in the same way. Like, there was a lot of jokes, there was a lot of behaviors that were kind of iffy. So the players do the after the game has been published and the players are playing it, each table is its own ecosystem. So each table does whatever they want.
Completely. And we can see that, at least I think we can see that with D&D, and I'm not sure if we can pick up the example of the dwarfs and the elves. It's something that I think everybody knows or talks about. I'm gonna be very honest. I have no idea if that's actually written in any of the books. I don't think so. But since they were inspired by Tolkien's ideas, okay, most of us know that there's like a rivalry between elves and dwarves. Um, and you can pick that up in various ways, I think. Um, I know some people that simply use that as a way to mask their racism. So they're like, "Oh, okay, so I'm a dwarf, they're an elf. That means I can just be rude. That
Yeah,
means I can just do whatever I want and do whatever I say. And if I want to, I will tell him some slurs."
yeah.
No. Let's draw a line. Okay. You can, first of all, you can role play your racism in various ways. you can you can role play racism without being racist. It's an
and
art, but it's
and that's the
possible.
thing. If you want to role play racism, then there needs to be a conversation beforehand. There needs to be some. Everyone at the table needs to be on the same page. There needs to be something of a session zero lines and veils kind of stuff. But Diego, you were interrupted by your own fall from the internet. So if you want to continue with your thing.
Yeah, so sorry. Portuguese weather has been lovely lately, and around here
I don't know which
sometimes.
storm it's going on yet. I forgot. It's one of them,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
they're
one
all
of the
bad.
and
5.
it just plugged all my cords for 1 second. So sorry. But yeah, it depends on the way you tackle these issues. Either if you're going to break them or you're not, or maybe if you have like this talk at the beginning of your table, like, okay, guys, maybe I will have some NPCs or some characters. The bad guys are going to do bad stuff, so please defeat them. And maybe I will use some things that I do not agree on, I do not support, but they will be the bad guys that you have to defeat, and maybe we will tackle those stuff. But it depends on how you do it. And And if you're trying to be racist on my table, that's not a pink flag. That's a black flag, and it's only one. Get out.
Yeah. I feel like one of the examples from rules that invite the role playing of racism and that most people ignore is that in the 2014 the 5th edition D&D, tieflings were supposed to be very ostracized from society. Like if you were playing a tiefling, it was written in the text, you are going to be looked down upon, you're going to have trouble in the cities, you shouldn't visit cities because it's going to be very difficult, no one's going to. And I any no table that I've ever played in, no campaign, no small adventure, no one that played as a tiefling was ostracized because we kind of decided this is dumb, we don't want to play this, so let's just ignore it and let's just be. Everyone's gonna act as if we're one of the other species. At the time, they were called races. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, I went to grab the receipts.
Yeah, no, it
especially because you mentioned tieflings, and I'm a tiefling maid.
Tiefling main is a good.
I have, no joke, more than 20 characters that are tieflings.
But maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I'm thinking it was 5th edition, right? Or was it 4th edition?
I think it's 5th edition already. Like, there are two types of things with tieflings. It's usually either ostracized type of character, or then it's the character that minorities tend to choose. It's the race that most tend to choose. Because of that stereotype, like, we are the ostracized ones. There is the common circle, like, oh, you're playing a tiefling, you're gay.
Huh, really?
For example, that's a common one.
That's a
bisexual tiefling warlock.
Huh.
That's actually a thing.
Yeah, that's a running joke in the queer community.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it's tieflings and changelings.
I played a tiefling warlock. I need to think about my life.
The most things I've heard about it is that tieflings are non-binary, and changelings are probably
gender fluid.
Trends between two genders. So basically, I didn't want to say only trans because non-binary are trans. So, but
yeah, the umbrellas would be are too tough. Yeah.
Yeah, changelings would be the transitioning between the two binary genders. But that's the thing I heard. If it was right, probably not, because it's generalized.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The most surprising thing I had when I was creating a character was I was like my DM was talking about like past relationships, past loves, whatever I had, and I was like, oh, just to make sure, I feel like my character Drakkar, he's like, he would love anyone, you know. I don't know. I just threw it like that, just not to make him uncomfortable if I was going to interact. Yeah. And his first response, and I was not expecting at all, but I loved it. It was like, "What do you mean? Like, why are you making a big deal of this?" Because I feel like every character in D&D is like pansexual because I mean, a dragon loving a devil and a devil loving a human.
Diego, I had that conversation, no joke, at this week with my students because they were talking about Ordem Paranormal. They want to play. They are creating a table to play, and I overheard them talking about the show. And they say, "Oh, that's like with that one. That's like with that one. Everyone is queer in this." And I was passing by them. I was like, "Yeah, you making a cis straight character? It's the odd thing."
Yeah.
I only date my species and the opposite gender. You're like, you are the minority here, bitch. Get out.
Here. Okay, about the tiefling part, it says here, Tieflings subside in small minorities found mostly in human cities and towns, often in the roughest quarters of the places. Right here.
Can I say something about this topic? And kind
Yes,
of
please.
like, then again, maybe talking about the event that it's gonna happen tomorrow. So tomorrow,
Go for it. Go for
so
it.
tomorrow we're gonna have a live play from a Portuguese system. Now I don't remember the name, but yeah,
It's Strangos one,
Wake
right?
Valley.
Lake
Yes.
Valley.
So we're gonna have a live play of that system. And something I learned, because I learned a lot about this system while we were preparing the live play, is that they have a species that is traditionally ostracized, and they're still enslaved inside the society that they're in. Is the species that I'm playing. So we're not really going to touch a lot on that, but I think we're gonna hover on it. And I think it's also a system that we should keep an eye on, because it will be the way that he's touching those subjects seems quite interesting, comparing to the others that we are used to, like D&D. So yeah, just keep an eye on the system and maybe on the live play.
What time is the live play tomorrow?
2:30.
Do you guys a favor, if you can, record it and put it on YouTube? Because I want to see. I have been dying to deep into that system. I've
I
been
will
curious about
try.
it.
I think we're gonna have the means to record it. I'm still not sure because everything is happening at the same time. But I'll see about it and I'll tell you something.
Because,
I'm
yeah.
very curious about it as well. That the creator went to Quebradados like a week ago or something, and GM the session, but I had other commitments at the time and I couldn't play. I had a birthday party for a family member, but I was so curious and I was so sad that it was that I couldn't play in it and I couldn't try it out. But one day I will. One day I will.
One day we will.
Yeah.
I'm just like curious about that one. Now we're talking a little bit about like the tiefling and the changeling and being characters that are usually played by. I speak more on the trans and the queers part because it's the thing that I don't want to say that I struggle, but it's the reality that I know. For example, like I said, I play mostly male characters, and when I realized that, I was just like, no, now I kind of get it. Why? Like, now I understand. There is a thing like we see ourselves represented in those characters, and representation matters. And most people want to feel seen, and we often see now some companies and publishers creating worlds and characters that are meant to represent some minorities. However, there are cases where representation is made with the pure intention of just a cash grab or falls into harmful stereotypes. Just as simple of a, why are you complaining? We did this for you. Do you
Regal
know
capitalism.
any? Yeah. Do you remember, or can you tell us some of the worst examples of representation that you can think of right now?
In TTRPG?
TTRPG.
Recently? Because
Anyone.
there's the
Any.
whole previous
Any.
editions of
All
let
of
me
it.
think. Bad cases. So there's the whole women were penalized for strength.
Yeah.
Um
And even in design, sometimes, like even in artworks and all.
The
yeah.
sexualization of women has always been a thing that I do not understand, and I will never will, and I will never will. extremely thin, big boobs, big hips, wearing
in
almost nothing.
Chainmail
positions of
bikini.
oh
The bikini.
no, yeah, the bikini
Yeah.
armor.
Is the thing like, because it's like a gaming has always been male dominated, so let's sell this to men. So I don't I have no idea. Right?
Oh, I have
For
a
money, right?
system. I have a system that I want to destroy, but I can't. That is not the. We have a physical book of it in Quebradach. It was gifted to us by someone who doesn't want to play it anymore, so they donated it. It's called Busty Barbarian Bimbos, and it's everything that the title says. It's Busty Barbarian Bimbos. That's the name of the RPG, and it's a whole RPG, and that's the whole theme. That's the concept, and that's the whole thing. I've never played it. I don't want it there, but it's there because people donated it to Quebradach, and we don't throw away games, even though I really want to. But and yeah, so I don't. It can be used in a sort of respectful parody-ish way by the right table, but I feel like most tables who want to pick it up are just gonna play it as the harmful stereotypes of the big dumb blonde and the. So yeah, that exists. In case you want to know.
That's
I
an
think it'd be
example.
fun. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You go.
I was
go.
gonna say it would be fun to play that game, but as himbos.
Yeah. So yeah, there's subversive ways to play it and make it interesting. Maybe I'm being very unfair, and maybe there is a parody sort of element to it that I'm missing or that I didn't interpret the right way. But when I read the first few pages, it didn't come off that way. So I don't want to touch it. Bye. I don't want.
Because that's the thing. It's always. I feel like nowadays it's always games and things always have this mask of, oh, but it's a parody. Oh, you're kidding. But man, you are still doing stereotypes. And as a queer person, I get very angry about it because they just don't get it. They just don't get it. When you didn't suffer that, when you didn't feel the pain or the struggle. In women, I cannot even begin with. First of all, because I'm not a woman, and if I want to, I can just wear my cis man white man mask, and I can just go by. If I hide my nails and I just put my hands in my pockets and I have a beard and I'm cool. I cannot even think what you've gone through your lives. So when people are just using this card of, oh, it's a joke, we are doing, I truly cannot. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, and I never will, because we need to start being more feisty, and we need to show our teeth, because the playing nice and doing and playing with them and just like, oh sure, it's not working, it's not cutting, and we're just letting men, these white supremacist men, just take space. And I'm done. I'm done. So sorry if I'm sounding a little bit sour, but I'm really done. And like,
Yeah.
let's not.
I mean, that's what goes to a bit of the beginning of this question. Like, representation matters. Right representation.
Yes.
I remember I said once something, I think it was as well before, like, just because I'm playing a character that it's this is not their entire personality. They are much more than that. For
Yeah.
example, in Curse of Strahd, I'm playing a character that represents me because they are also a pre-transition character. And they have a personal goal of like being able to get their own body. Is that their main goal? No! They are above their fucking strand. They have a portion things to worry about. It's a part of them. It's not the full thing about themselves. And I
Yeah.
think that also goes into the bad representation of like grabbing one little detail. This is your whole personality.
Yeah.
When there's so much more depth to it.
Yes.
Oh, it's a female character here. See? It's the same type of character that's been done 30,000 times just because you want to say that you have a female character in
Or
the
it's
game.
the gay best friend, or it's the,
The gay best friend, it's this that stereotype that at
yeah.
some point becomes kind of harmful because it's like, oh, but you're represented here. What are you complaining about? But then I'll switch this around. What are some of the best examples of representation have you seen?
Um. So, in terms of ableism, oh my God, he made a little sound. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of ableism, and I will talk. I will put the same. Like I will talk about either the best and the bad, because personally, I don't think there's enough representation, period, in terms of capabilities, being physical capabilities, or some mental disorders are a little bit more talked now. I had a concern about that, because especially because I'm also from psychology. I had a concern about that with another Portuguese system that I talked directly to the creator, Wazilo. So that's basically asylum is the title. As soon as I read the title, I was a little bit concerned when I saw that it was, first of all, a horror game, and second of all, when I saw the whole aesthetic, and as someone who studies psychology, is going to work with people with psychological illnesses, has people from my family that they've been hospitalized due to that, and I myself have been hospitalized because of my mental disabilities. As soon as I saw that portrait of asking for help, because that's what being hospitalized is getting the help you need, I got a little bit sad and a little bit upset. So I went to Daniel, the guy that created the system, and I tried to talk about some doubts that I was having, like how can we make sure? How did you make sure? Because he also studied criminology, I think.
He did.
So he also has a scientific background, and I was like, okay, how did you make sure that this doesn't go as a way to portray mental illnesses in this dark lens, in this horror lens? Because it's so easy for us with mental illnesses to feel trapped in our own bodies. And almost only talking about mental illnesses, because if we talk about the physical ones, it gets even worse, and if they overlap, worse it gets. um how can we make sure that this system, being a horror system, won't make people afraid to ask for help? And that's something I talked about with him. And also, I inserted that in our Secret Santa present. I made a whole thing. He was my Secret Santa. He was the guy
I
that
remember.
I wanted. Yeah. So basically, I gave him a whole box to survive the asylum. Like have a friend, grab a cup of tea, have a minute to take a breath, because I think the authors, obviously we cannot talk with all of the authors. I had the privilege to talk with this one, but the authors need to be held accountable for what they choose to portray in their games. And I can also I can only say that about mental illnesses, because then again, there aren't I don't remember any cases of physical disability representation, but I might be forgetting a lot of stuff. But I'm pretty sure, like, I've seen one or other character that maybe uses a wheelchair. I know at least one. Um, and some that are blind in one eye, and those are kind of disabilities, but they don't really put those disabilities in mechanics in games. That's something that I'm trying to do, like create little traits that really affect the mechanics, because the truth is physical disabilities will affect the way that we deal with life. So I'm trying to create little traits, like how would rheumatoid arthritis make the character play. What would we need to do to make that, uh, you know, accurate, I guess. And
Yes,
also,
and
Um,
we're not
sorry.
inspirations. It's
yeah.
just that.
Oh,
I,
Eryn?
I've seen that done before. Usually, what you want to look for inspiration for making your own is like perks and flaws systems.
Yes,
Though,
that's what
yeah.
I've been trying to do. I started with mental illnesses because then again, it's my specialty.
Hmm.
uh, I used in Lydia, my character from the live play that we have on YouTube. She has a little trait. She's canonically autistic, because I used her. I used a lot of me. I made a lot of self inserts in that character, and the autism was one of the parts. So I had to create a trait, and we used that as a mechanic. So we used the D4. Um, every time she made a short rest or she had a traumatic encounter, I would have to roll a d4, and there would be three options. I could have an advantage if I got 4. Uh, if I got 2 or 3, my rolls would be neutral. If I got 1, my rolls would have disadvantage. And disadvantage, neutrality, or disadvantage would apply to every roll that I would do after that d4 roll, until I had a long rest or another short rest that would make me reroll. But I could also have proficiency in something that in her case was medicine, because that was her hyperfixation. So I tried to do that with autism, and I'm trying to do that with physical stuff now, which is a little bit more tricky, but we're doing
Yeah, for physical disabilities, the only example that I can remember is the not original, but not from the original creators, but the fan made content. You know, the fan made mods for a wheelchair, the fan made.
The Ombros. There
Yeah,
is
yeah.
actually uh, I was there in like Twitter before the whole OSR, I forgot, shenanigans happened. And I found myself many times seeing on my timeline huge arguments about making wheelchairs or characters in wheelchairs. Like, oh, but it's fantasy. Why do they need wheelchairs? They can heal themselves. I'm like, the fuck? Let the character, let people do the characters the way they want.
Yes. I would like
But
to
it's
do
a
a fairy
topic.
that cannot stand.
That's the thing. That comes from the idea that there's no way someone would want to role play someone with a disability. Like, if it's a fantasy, then there's no way that you're not going to pick a perfectly capable, is that the word?
Perfectly abled, I guess.
Able. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was like, that doesn't sound right. So
Able-bodied.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Able. So some people have this conception that if you're playing make believe and you want to play the best version, and obviously the best cannot ever be disabled. And so that's
But
it comes from this idea that disabled is bad, disabled is wrong, so you definitely don't want to do that. It's
you've got Professor X.
Yeah, if we talk about like
definitely
if we talk about characters, we can find some of them that are very cool. But
Mhm.
I don't think there are systems. I think that was my thing. We systems
Uh,
aren't really adapt to it. But characters, we have some very cool characters right now, especially in TV and books. They're getting way better.
yeah.
Two things that I want to point out from chat. Joe said, it's fantasy. Well, magic is expensive, first of all.
Mm.
It
There's
is.
a.
And there is another
Oh, go
one
ahead.
from Orange Dry, both Fate and PBTA. I don't know what's that one.
Powered by the apocalypse.
Thank you.
Ah,
Of course. Have games with physical disabilities baked into character creation. That's interesting. I didn't know
Nice.
about that.
mm-hmm.
Which ones?
Yeah,
Which system?
that's a good system.
I mean, which games in the
Uh,
PBTA?
yeah, which one? If you can tell us.
Maybe Blades in the Dark. I haven't played a
Blades is
lot of
fun.
them. I've played Brindlewood Bay and Monster of the Week.
Oh, I love Brindlewood Way.
That's amazing.
It's
But
amazing.
probably maybe Dungeon World or Blades in the Dark or something. Could have been.
If you can give us
Or Apocalypse World.
specific.
Oh, I bet Apocalypse World has. Because, I mean, it's in Apocalypse. It makes sense
Yeah.
Makes
that
sense.
they open up the possibilities of characters. Like, I think. I mean, I assume.
There's an older anime, Slayers, that's very fantasy. They cast spells and whatever. And there's a character in it who's like the most powerful cleric in the world. Or I forget if he's a cleric or a sorcerer, but he's blind. And it turns out magic will not heal it, no matter what he tries. And when he finally does, there was a reason he was blind. He was like technically kind of holding a god, or a powerful entity, kind of in check. But yeah, you could have a disabled character in D&D, and something magical. It cannot be cured through magic.
Yeah. I think a good character that, because we dabbled a little bit on animation and all of that. I never really, and don't judge me for this, I never really watched the entirety of Avatar: The Last Airbender, but
Mm.
Okay. But
don't judge me. I am uncultured. Okay. I know they have a character that, at least from
it's
what I saw,
tough.
she looks amazing. Even though,
It's tough. She is the
yeah,
coolest character.
she
She's the
makes a lot
best.
of jokes about her own disability, which is a point that
It's a point.
I think some people forget that we are the ones that deal with our disability every day. Yeah, like, oh my god, you have a cane. Really? I had no idea I have.
Never seen
Wow!
it.
Never seen it before.
I thought
Really?
it
But
was
you
a magic wand. Like,
and you bring and you brought up Toph as well. Avatar is actually a franchise that I love, and I'm dying to play Avatar Legends. I'm dying,
I have
especially
it.
because I have characters for it. Get right me. And Toph is the character that the one of the big parts of her concept is she's blind and she uses that disability to create likely one of the most powerful bending skills in her bending
Yeah.
style, which is the earth bending. She learned from the como é que se diz em inglês, caras?
Bowls.
From the moles that are blind to use the kinetic sense to see and feel through it.
Through touch.
Through touch. That's why she's
Yeah.
always barefoot. But that becomes so cool. You're like, no one thought about that. Only someone with a disability thought about a way to turn it into a superpower.
But there's a thing, like something, at least the part that I think it's very interesting about the character, and then again, I don't know a lot about it. Um, but I thought it was very interesting because even though her power was based on her disability, it is not only because of her disability.
Not only
Because
that, it's
something like I think other people that are not blind could also have that power if they train enough for that, right?
Exactly.
And that's very important because, and then again, I when I say that disabled people are not inspired, people are not inspiring, people get very confused because they're like, but being inspiring is nice, okay? But like, we are not people that we're not like, oh, I'm so good because I overcame my disability. No, I'm good because I live with my disability. I live with it. I don't overcome it. And that's exactly what she does. She lives
exactly.
with it. She learns to dance with it, and she makes a wonderful choreography out of it.
Yeah. Clip that as
And
well.
clip this, Joe.
Rhoda,
Clip this.
your quotes today are fire.
Clip this.
Fire.
I'm gonna rebrand today's talk to like a lot of inspiring quotes.
Like, I'm gonna tattoo half of what she said this stream.
Yes,
Like,
and just the last one on Thoth, because yes, she had a disability. She learned how to live with it, and then she had the mindset of, "I'm the strongest earthbender this world has ever seen, and no one can stop me. So deal with it."
yeah, I love Dolph. She's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's the best.
And I think that she's in my opinion, a great example of representation because of that. Not that not that she's inspiring. She's cool as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I was trying to go through my script and my mouse died. I think. So I was like, why is this not moving? I'm sorry. We were talking a little bit about this, and for example, Laurinha, you brought up your own struggles. And I ask you this: how has representation impacts your self-perception in TTRPGs and gaming?
I think that good representation of diverse opinions and groups and ways of thinking, diversity is strength. You'll always have a player who can figure out a different way to go through a puzzle or a different way of thinking about a situation. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, different experiences bring different things to the table, and the most diverse groups are always the most interesting sessions. They will always make the most interesting sessions. For example, and I'm going a little bit back. I love Dimension 20 because they have been bringing so much more queer representation. They have, they have Dungeons and Drag Queens.
I love it.
That's amazing.
On Sleeping City, they had a full transition. They had a full trans character represented all throughout the campaign. They've been doing some really nice things, and also with races, they always have black characters with them. I really appreciate their work. I'm not a fan. You cannot see that I'm a fan.
Not at all. Not at all.
And that also empowered me to be more comfortable bringing those type of things to the tables. To bring a female character and be confident in my role play, or going cosplay full on drag, let's say. So so yeah, that's a really great example for the queer community, and I love what they've been doing. But yeah, like the most diverse tables are the best experience, because you will see like the craziest ideas coming through, and then one player will come up with this crazy idea, the other one will take a part of that idea and turn it into something even crazier. And at some point, your whole plan for the session is through the window, but you are having like the fun of your life. And
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we are just trying to escape reality. We are just trying to have fun. No one is going to change the world with this, but we are changing our lives. And I feel like if you can inspire someone else, then it's job done. So yeah, like like
Done.
yeah, bring more people, bring different people. No more than 6 players, please, because then it's math. But but yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Bring more people, bring different people, but that's too many. Calm down. 7 is too many.
Not on my table. Let's find a new table. Make a new
Another
table.
day. Today we're full.
Yeah.
Next session, okay? You join in.
Yeah.
That's something that oh, this is, I don't know if this is an example, because I mean, okay. So I'm doing a West March campaign. I'm participating in a West March campaign. And yes, most of my players and most of the GMs that GM with me are white male. Um, yeah, that happens. I am I think I'm the only frequent girl GM in the group. But having so many GMs, because we're we're probably 10 GMs, and we play with over 30 people, no, over 40 people that rotate every week. It's very fun. But even though they're all white males, or mostly white males, we can see how diversity can be such a strength for the group, because I learned so much with them, not only with the GMs, also with the groups, with the different players. Uh, we have students that just came to Coimbra. We have people that lived here their whole lives. We have older people. We have a player that the one that I was talking about
Mhm.
after no before we started. He's like 60 years old. We have players. We're gonna start having minor players. We have a lot of ages. We have all of the genders. We have so many presentations. Unfortunately, then again, we don't have a lot of racial representation. We are very white still. But in all of that, we're having so much representation, and that is teaching me so much as a GM and as a person, but mostly as a GM, because I like to believe that I'm not I'm not that uninformed as a person myself. I hope. But I'm learning so much, and it's so fun, and I love it so much that I don't understand how there are people that are against it. But yes, okay, I'm rambling right now.
It's getting late. It's getting late.
Getting late, and we ramble, especially when it's things that like, why is this so hard to understand? Like,
Yes.
there's diversity, there's people.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing that I've been experiencing like the past years, that I've been throwing myself to the public and just saying, okay, I have this table, please people come. And then I get there and I meet the people over there. The funniest thing is you get people from all over the place, all types of ages, all kinds of backgrounds. But at the end of the day, people just want to bring this random character with this eye patch and this parrot on their shoulder, and they just want to wield the sword and just take the head out of this monster that you present them. And everyone is like, okay, let's do it, and have a prize at the end, and conquer something, win, I don't know, win money, I don't know, something that we come up with. And that's the thing, like when I get to the table, I always, at the end of a session, I always see like a bunch of kids just really happy. And then you see like, we're just humans. We are all equal, and people just leave all those stuff behind. At least from my experience, it has been like this. Like this. That's why I say that I've been so lucky so far, because at the end of the session, you just see a bunch of happy kids that really enjoyed this past 4 hours. And that's what I love about RPGs. I don't care if I'm being paid or not. I would rather be paid for it. If you can pay something, yes, I will take it. Thank you. But if I'm being paid or not, it's just having these precious moments with people and bringing people together.
Yeah,
I love it.
definitely.
And you, all of you, in some way, have brought up topics because all of you run games for the public, either at events, either at stores. You are in contact with so many different people. How is it like? All that experience that goes through your table, either it's from all ages, from all genders, from all races, from all ethnicities, all of it, all backgrounds. How has that influenced you in a way? How has that shaped you
It's definitely
as a GM? Yeah.
improved my improv skills.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Actually, the two other stories of discrimination that I talked about in the beginning are at public events where I was GMing for randos. And one of them, I feel like it was an instance of dating violence, because the discrimination that I saw was a boyfriend against his girlfriend. Which unfortunately happens everywhere. So it will also happen at D&D tables. It wasn't D&D, at RPGs tables. But one of the instances that I saw was everyone was playing with people they didn't know, except for two, I assume, lesbian girls, because they were dating. They were partners. No idea of their sexuality, but let's just assume lesbian. But two women who were partners, and then randos who did not know any of the other players. And one of the girls was very experienced with RPGs and was the only person who was experienced with RPGs at the table, apart from myself as the GM. And so when we have a lot of experience with an RPG, when the GM presents a problem, we are much quicker to think about a solution. We're much quicker to think about, oh, I'm going to investigate the door, or we're much quicker to come up with options, and we have more initiative usually. So that's what happened. She was very proactive in the game. She was very into resolving the stuff. So she talked a lot. And it's okay to feel frustration if you don't feel like you're having enough space at the table to come up with the solutions, because someone is already doing that for everyone else. It's okay to feel frustration. It's not okay to react in certain ways. So what happened was that one of the men, when she came up with a new solution very quickly, without anyone else having the opportunity to talk, he got very mad and said in this tone of voice, "You just won't shut up!" and did this like strangling motion directed at her. And at the time, I did not even process what was happening. I just said, "Hey, let her finish. Okay, keep going." So I didn't even recognize that the way that he reacted was such a aggressive way to communicate his frustrations. my thought was, oh, an interruption. Wait, she's talking. So I feel like I handled it poorly at the time. Only after the session ended did I think, oh, wait, maybe that was a not pink, a red flag moment. Maybe. And with the dating violence, wait, I reacted like, just let her talk, dude. Stop telling her what to do. Just stop, shut up. I reacted poorly, I think, in my frustration of the situation. So the way that it has shaped me is that I have learned a little bit how to manage from the beginning with randos how this is gonna work, how I can manage everyone's emotions in a way. How am I gonna react when someone does something that I don't feel like it's appropriate at the table? So GMing for strangers in a public event is a lot of pressure, I feel. So that's the way it has affected me. But on the other hand, it also has a lot, most of the time, it's amazing. Most of the time, it's great. People come up with ideas that I would never have thought about. I meet lots of different people who have never role played a day in their life are the ones that are bringing character into existence. So 99% of the time, it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Like the ability of reading people, especially with randos. When you get random people, I've been feeling like I've been trained to understand more signs in people, because you are sometimes people paid to be there, so you want them to have a good time, you want them to have a good experience. Sometimes they are trying this type of games for the first time, so you want to bring more people to the rainbow side, let's say. So you want more people to play, because more people playing means more opportunities for you to play as well. And as a DM, you're always searching for tables to play in. So you want people to have a good experience, and I feel like I've been trained to understand different people's signs, and to, like, for sure, be quick on my feet and to change it up, especially with randoms, because I have a session prepped, and usually I have my own recipe to try to give everyone what they would experience normally in a D&D. So you have fight, you have role play, you have a little bit of a puzzle, you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But sometimes if you can read the table and feel them, and maybe push more towards role play because they really like to interact with each other, or maybe they don't interact very much with each other, but the first little fight you had, they really enjoyed doing the math and throwing dice. Maybe I will make the fight bigger. So for sure, yeah, DMing for random people makes you more of a, like a team, like people managing skills. Yes, hire us and we will do the best people managing ever.
Definitely. Oh, doggy.
Branquinho.
Branquinho, que mais?
He's so cute.
Oh, very nice.
I did want to quickly add that a friend of mine has reminded me that 5th edition 2014 Artificer for 5e specifically states one of the I think subclasses you can pick or something like that, that you can have an armor that will compensate for any physical disability that you have. So if you're missing a limb or something like that, yeah, that's written in the 5e rules.
Yeah, I played that with the bionic arm, you know, the classic replacing like prosthetics. Thank you. The classic, maybe it's a stereotype, a trope, I would say,
of an artificer.
Yeah, but it also lends itself to the the character has a disability, but it isn't represented in the mechanics, like Laura was talking about. So it, the character has a disability, but it's basically flavor, because in the actual fight or mechanics of it, they don't, because the technology compensates and makes it so that it's not noticeable, which isn't a bad thing, I think, but it I don't know. Laura can
Uh,
speak
So
much more
yeah.
about that.
I mean, I think the only, and this is going into like technicalities, okay? Um, if it's like missing an arm or a leg, I think it's missing maybe the phantom pain, the the amount of physiotherapy that you would need to use the prosthetics. It's not just, oh, I don't have an arm, let me put this iron arm into my rest of an arm. I don't know, because
Yeah.
I don't think they would. I don't know, there are a lot of things that would be related to that, and obviously not everybody experiences that. Um, but there's not even the opportunity to represent that experience. So it's very cool visually, like amazing. Especially like when people decide, oh, I'm gonna be blind in one eye because I want to have a scar on my eye and I want the eye to be white or something like that. But then they don't have any disadvantage in perception
They
or
should.
something like that.
This
Yeah,
is that's yeah.
if you
May-
only have one eye working, you are not going to have the same field of vision.
Yeah, and then that's when I feel like the DM also has like the big role of also pushing those things. And if I can, for example, I discuss, I love to give quirks to my characters, and in
Mhm.
one of the tables I'm playing in, I gave a bunch of, for example, a bunch of. I forgot the word in English, but I am, and also in Portuguese, but allergic. So I gave a bunch of
Allergies.
allergies to my character.
Like,
So if I eat that thing that I said that I was allergic to, and I
yeah,
said that my allergic reaction is I will lose my sense of smell. For sure, if I'm trying to sense things in a room, I'm not smelling anything. So if it's
yeah,
smelling bad or not, I have no idea. So I should be punished per se, or I should be accounted. Uh, if you have that thing, you should. So I feel like in that case, it's also part of the DM, and maybe maybe if it's not built into the rules, you can also discuss before starting the campaign. You can also discuss with your DM to, okay, I want to do this character and he has a disability and I want to feel represented. So let's figure something out. And that's why I love homebrewing
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm all for it. And also, I love the quirkiest ideas my players have. Please bring them in, but just know that I will make you accountable for it. Maybe you'll have an advantage with this. Maybe you'll have a disadvantage with that. But also keep in mind that the monsters will also have some quirks. Okay,
yeah,
and but I feel like the DM is also very important into that,
yeah.
because if it's not in the rules, you make them. Please,
But
let's
one
make them.
Mhm.
problem, one problem is that that is very true, and I really agree with that. Um, but for players to have the initiative to have a disabled character,
But
that's
this,
my
like,
experience. Because I've been, for example, those allergies. I think I used that with a player because they jokingly said that their player didn't eat such thing because they were allergic to it. Uh, just because I wanted to see if they were faithful to that idea, I gave them a soup with said ingredients.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
I was like, okay, roll a constitution saving throw. And they were like, why? I just ate the soup. Was it poisoned or something? I don't know. Roll it. And then, I mean, they rolled really low. So logically they would start getting an anaphylactic shock. Right? Right? And they're like, "Oh no, but I was joking. I didn't want them to have allergies because at least from my experience, most people don't want to have fragilities. There are a lot of people that would accept there are some people that would accept having those fragilities then again, but most of them wouldn't want to. So what I want as a disabled GM and RPG players is what I would like is for that to be introduced by the people that introduce stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff are introduced. Why is that very real thing not coming into the world?
For example, especially
oh.
I feel like new players, if we don't have it in the base rules, of course, new players, they won't maybe touch those things.
Yeah.
But that's what I say. NPCs have a shopkeeper to be in a wheelchair, have a blind seer that is reading futures in people's hand just by the touch. So I feel like that's sadly, because in a perfect world we would have it like embedded in like the base rules. We would also have that, but I feel like it rests in our shoulders to also maybe put that into it, especially because if they are exploring like humongous worlds, they for sure will encounter someone with a disability, for sure. Okay, we might be queer people, might be minorities, disabled people might be minorities, but if you are traveling the 7 seas, you'll for sure find several people.
There are. And Eryn, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was gonna add earlier when we were talking about the artificer and how it's like, oh, it's mechanically like, you know, you can just kind of ignore it. Oh yeah, your character's like missing parts of their body or something like that, but the technology takes over. I think you could use that as a storyline beat where they get to the big bad and the big bad casts like dispel magic and they lose their armor. And now it does matter that they're missing a leg and an arm or something.
Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, he's got to go out.
Yeah.
Well, I was also tracking the time, and I think we can leave just one last question for you guys before we wrap it up, which is, how do we, as game masters, make our tables feel more safe? What tools can we use? What is your advice for game masters to make their tables a safe place?
Pink flags, everyone. Please use it.
I was thinking about that.
I mean, there's such a thing as a visual, just a visual, like just a pin. I've seen the effects of just wearing a pin. In Quebradados, we have the flag, we have the LGBTQIA plus flag, and that has had an effect. Just the fact that some of our members wear a rainbow pin has an effect. Just a visual nod, like, we're friendly. Hey, okay, here. But yeah, the pink flags, the rules, the lines and veils, the safety tools, so on and so forth.
Yeah, you said exactly what I was gonna say.
Yes, and our work with representation itself, like if we work as a GM to have representation with our NPCs, that also makes it feel safer. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I got so annoyed at my previous DM was that he would say stuff like, and then you meet the smith, and it's a woman who is very muscular, which isn't common for women. And I'm like, it's a fantasy world. Who cares? What common? It's it's only uncommon if you say if you make it so it's like and
You
so
can
yeah.
like you can present her as uncommonly muscular. Period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not
person, an
muscular.
uncommonly muscular person. Not that it's uncommon because it's a woman. Like,
Yeah.
so
Phrase it
yeah,
properly, people. Phrase it properly.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and just a little thing that Cari said about the pins and that visual representation. Not as a GM because I haven't had that experience of GMing in public at all. But Diego met me at conventions, and he can tell I run around with a pride flag, even if I'm the only one running around with it. Just that visual helps
As
Yeah.
you should.
tons.
It does help. It does help.
Actually that's something that now that you're saying, I've been liking like I need to have like the biggest pride pin. Now that I will add to my list.
So
I
it's
need things to bring to
Yeah.
my sessions.
like
I
not as
also
a
have that.
not as a game master, but for example, at Iberport, the booth that we had, the the pride flag that was hanged there was mine. But I jokingly said, "Hey, why don't you guys hang the pride flag there?" Everyone was like, "Yeah, sure." It was there all the time,
Nice.
and I was running around with the trans flag, and I remember I spoke with people, and they said, "We feel safe near you
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we know because of that."
I'm not gonna
And
lie,
that's
that
something we can
reminds
just
me of something. I'm sorry.
go.
That reminds me of something. So when I was little, and that's something that was then translated in today's terms. But when I was little, my and I used to go to festivals with my parents. My father and my mom always told me that if I got lost, I could go to goth-looking people and mothers that were with children. Uh, so I mean, these types
Interesting.
of people, they're not the same, but they have something in common, which is they care a lot. Goth people, they care a lot. I mean, usually nowadays most people have the goth aesthetic and they don't really go into the cause. But when I was a child, being punk was being punk. When I was a child, being goth was being goth. So we knew that those people had morals. And that's the same we assume with mothers of many children. So those visual representations, I don't think mm, those pins, those little flags, because I have a lot of pins in my lanyards, and some of them say funny stuff that also represents me. I think we need visual reminders that we're not alone. And sometimes visual reminders that we're not alone include the way that we dress, the way that we present ourselves, and they also include the flags and the pins that we use. And that's very nice. Humans are very fun.
Yeah, true. So true. So true.
That's so true. And well, I think like this, we can wrap up today's talk. And before I say anything, I think you guys have something to say because you guys have something big for tomorrow, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that
But
was the cue, Lena. That was the cue.
good
I
There
was
was a
morning.
trying
bell.
to,
There was no
I
bell.
was
Sorry.
like, is there anybody that has anything else to say? So tomorrow, almost today, through night, I'm gonna say 9 a.m. because I'm not sure, but through 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. we'll be having an event, Hall Meet Centro, in Coimbra at Mercado Municipal Dom Pedro V. So yes, come with us. We have fantastic artist Sally. We have RPG sessions from a lot of different systems. We have D&D, we have Ordem Paranormal, we have Pathfinder, we have Orc and the Pie, we have. What are you gonna
Let me grab it.
Partners in crime.
I think somebody's gonna run Alternity too. Dark Sun, a lot of stuff. Okay, and we're gonna have live play where I'm gonna be playing. I have to go and make my cat ears because I'm gonna need cat ears for the live play.
Yes.
And yeah, you can come.
Oh, Alternity, yeah.
You can come say hi to us, watch our live plays, participate in our workshops, and also watch our talks. We're gonna have Cari is gonna present her thesis. Once again, I love it. And we're gonna have a talk on how to produce an actual play by our fantastic team that made Os Deuses Também Morrem happen. So yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, and I'm gonna be giving homemade cookies too. So
What's a cookie?
Aw.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Best part of the whole event.
Free cookies? I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Ooh.
so cool.
if anybody comes at
All
me
kinds of
tomorrow
cool
when I
aliens.
don't have it. If
Oh.
anybody comes at me tomorrow when I don't have any more cookies because they were all gone and they're like, I came for the cookies, I will cry.
Bring a big batch. Make a big batch of cookies.
I made 125 cookies yesterday. I'm gonna make more tomorrow. Tomorrow, no, today. Yeah.
That's them.
I made those yesterday and I am gonna make more today, yes.
Holy damn.
Yeah.
Um,
Good luck.
good luck.
Fun.
And I hope you guys have an amazing event tomorrow. All of you that will be running games, that will be having talks. Good luck, really.
Thank you.
And with this, we will also finally reach the end of New Game Master Month. This was a long and yet amazing ride. And thank you so much to all of you that joined us tonight. Thank you to my wonderful guests that joined me today for this talk. You guys are amazing. And thank you to every single guest that joined us during this week. We had amazing talks, amazing people, and I feel like for new GMs, this I hope that this was very insightful for them, and I hope that this can create more people to inspire more people to run games. We need more game masters.
Yes,
Don't be
we do.
afraid.
Always.
Don't be
Yes.
afraid.
Definitely.
And I hope you had a really good time to celebrate this. It was a pleasure to have you all here at the Guild's channel. And if you missed any of this talk, or if you wish to rewatch it, worry not. We will post this talk and all other talks. They are already available, and this one will be available on YouTube soon, so you can rewatch it. And so I'm sorry, my screen said 5 minutes before the power turns off, so I was like, no panic. And you can also listen to it soon on Spotify. We are working on it. I'm sorry, the editor is tired. I'm doing my best. But also, if you are subscribed here on Twitch, you can see the vote right now. So if you are curious, consider. Just consider.
Very nice.
Sounds tempting.
It's tempting.
Mhm.
You can see the vote right away. You don't need to wait to be on YouTube. It's 2 days of wait, but some people cannot wait 2 days, especially if it's something you really want to rewatch. For our viewers, I'm not done for this week because I ran Lex on Wednesday. I hosted a talk today, and oh boy, tomorrow, welcome back to Ader City, Agents, because Project Aegis, a D&D universe in a cyberpunk setting one-shot series, is back tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. GMT for Mission 3. I'll be your DM, as you probably realized, the tired DM, but I have a new party. we will welcome back the players of Mission 2, Barbs, Annie, and Leonor. And we will have 3 new players. We will have Gonçalo, who will make his debut at the guild. We will have our Radio Demon / Chaos Bringer Wolf, a member of our staff that is going to join us for this one shot. And we have a special guest from Dados à Portuguesa, Michel Ventura, is going to join us. So, once again, thank you so much to our guests. Thank you so much to everyone that was watching. And see you guys tomorrow, I guess. I think I've been here the whole week. But yeah. And stay for the raid. Click likes in chat so Twitch know you're there, and stay for the raid. We are raiding somebody. We are giving love to somebody.
Nice.
So yeah. Bye-bye, guys.